great to see so many friendly faces coming here on a rush hour and everything. We really appreciate you being here. I'm Martin Schlagener. I work for the councilman, a long-time advocate on environmental issues, and so excited to see all the friendly faces here. I'm not here to speak. I first just want to call you all together and say we're just going to go through a couple of the endorsements, hear from our guests of honor, and then we'll be able to mingle and talk some more, as well as do some volunteering. So first up, I want to introduce Ara Vasquez and David Hockey of Sierra Club, and they can speak about the Sierra Club endorsement for the council member. All right.
Grateful that you're all here supporting Councilman Huizar. I'd like to begin with fast forwarding and maybe back forwarding a little bit with the little bit of relationship that I have with the council member. Maybe a couple of 4 years ago when the Sierra Club brought me on board, I got the chance to meet him for the first time at his campaign office, that's his field office down in Ball Heights. And I was there, not by myself, I was there with a group of, a beautiful coalition called Repowered LA, which Lane is one big spearheader this coalition. And we talked about the possibilities. We talked about what would it be like to bring all of these green jobs and bring an amazing energy efficiency program that will benefit all of us. And guess who was there to support us? Councilman Huizar. And that was not the only thing that he did, at least that was the beginning of my relationship with him. I later had the chance to get to know him better when I worked for the Beyond Coal campaign. So when I came on board, the Sierra Club didn't only broke the stereotype that the environment was for middle-class white folk, but it was also for communities of color that were the most affected. And guess who was there to support our dream and our goal to get LA off of coal? Councilman Huizar. So that's He also supported the largest and most exciting rooftop solar program in the country today, which is our Feed and Tariff program. So whether it's supporting banning the single-use plastic bag, or banning fracking in LA, or creating bike lanes that will enhance our streets and will create community, or whether it's bringing programs like the Clean Up, Green Up to communities that really need it, like my community, like our community. This is why I'm excited to say today that the Sierra Club is endorsing Councilman Huizar, and we need 4 more years.
All right.
So, as most of you probably know, the Sierra Club, founded in 1892 by John Muir, is the oldest, largest, and most influential grassroots environmental organization. And here in Los Angeles, the Angeles chapter has 40,000 members and supporters. And what we stand for is that all of us have a right to clean air, clean water, and a place to go to connect with nature. And so that is why we are so proud to endorse Jose Huizar for re-election to City Council District 14. He has been a steadfast ally in creating green spaces for the people of not only CD14 but throughout the city of Los Angeles. A number of parks have been created because he has been a champion for open space, so people can go, connect with nature, and have the right to have a safe place to work and to live and to be free from environmental hazards. And that is so important for people living in a place like Los Angeles. As Aura just mentioned, he has been a steadfast partner with the Sierra Club in creating good green jobs throughout the city. So we are so thrilled that we will be working with all of you to ensure his re-election this coming March 3rd. So please join us in supporting Councilman Huizar.
All right. So, one of the things that David said is work with you and join us. And to do that, before you leave here today, I want to make sure you're either spending some time with us phone banking tonight or have signed up to do some volunteer work. I want to introduce David Friedman. Dan Friedman. And I just got done with David, so that's why I got confused. Dan Friedman and I are co-chairing, if you will, the outreach work for environmental mobilization in support of Huizar. So he and I are good friends. I know he's there.
I know he knows.
We spent extra time on that with you because you need to know him. And before you leave, make sure you've signed up with him so that you're getting together with us on some of our volunteer mobilizations. Okay. Next up, the League of Conservation Voters. I'll let the next speaker introduce that to you. But obviously, one of the two endorsing organizations in the environmental field of any significance. Councilman Huizar has them both, and we're really happy to have here today Jim Kennedy from League of Conservation Voters. Los Angeles.
In truth, there's only one name you need to know for this election on March 3rd. It's Jose.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say that in LA, about 500,000 people are going to turn around.
Well, we need 500,000 people to turn around and come out and vote for you. I'm sure that's what all these people are here to make sure that happens. Again, my name is Jim Kennedy. I'm an executive board member of the LA League of Conservation Voters. And our mission is to make sure that the environmental perspective is heard clearly in our local elections. And that voice today is to make sure that everybody knows that Jose Huizar should be reelected as a council member for this Council District 14. The LA League of Conservation Voters has previously awarded the council member as an environmental champion of Los Angeles. And there's many reasons for that. And there's a reason why we are also today endorsing you for re-election. And that's because when you took the chair of the Energy and Environment Committee, you really pushed forward on a lot of legislation that's already been mentioned about alternative energy sources for LAPD. And also, you also took the initiative on banning plastic bags in LA. And that led to the initiatives on a statewide level. So you stood up to the lobbyists, you fought the litigations, but you made sure that now that it's fully implemented, there's 2 billion plastic bags that are no longer in our waste stream, they're no longer in our rivers, and no longer going out to the Santa Monica Bay.
All right.
And you also must be committed for pushing forward on the new waste hauling regulation, the exclusive franchise system, and that is going to make sure that we have less garbage trucks on our streets, that those that remain have clean fuel standards. And now that we're doing pilot programs in all these franchise districts so that we can now divert food waste from our solid waste stream, it's going to be a big difference to improve the city, to move to zero waste, and also to keep our landfills from overflowing. Just here in Eagle Rock, over the way in Glendale, you have the Shoal landfill. And Glendale has proposed to expand that. And you are uniting, as we speak, environmentalists and local community groups to fight that, because that is not a sustainable alternative to doing what you're doing. On the upside is to divert that waste, to make a better choice than long-term sustainability. So for that, we really do need you to be reelected this council district.
All right.
I have the simple and easiest introduction to make. Ed Begley Jr., who I hope you all know, the actor, the author, and of course the pioneer in environmental sustainability here Los Angeles and throughout the country.
All right.
I'll keep my remarks brief because we all want to hear from the council member. But let me tell you, I started with this environmental business back in 1970, and there might be one or two people around my age. Oh, maybe not. Okay, thank you. You're very kind. But many people younger than me even remember what it was like back when I started the first Earth Day in 1970. People certainly remember what it was like in 1980. And I certainly remember what it was like even in the 50s and 60s. Horrible, choking smog. Here many years later, we have 4 times the cars, millions more people, but what happened? The air's a lot cleaner. We did it because we made cars cleaner. We had more public transportation. We made more complete streets. I'm going to use your term now. We have more livable neighborhoods where there's more public transportation, people walking and riding bikes and what have you. And coming down Colorado Boulevard to come here, you can see his great influence. All the wonderful bike paths down Colorado Boulevard. Many bike paths, lots of bike paths. More of those bike lanes, more of the bike racks, hundreds more trees to make this a more livable community in every way, to make it a cooler neighborhood, to cut down on the heat, air conditioning, what have you, make it put out more oxygen, taking more CO2. We've been at climate rallies together. We were there at that climate rally together, notably. And he believes in doing something to combat climate change, and he puts his money where his mouth is. He's always been fighting for a cleaner LA in every way. We had this impossible dream back 1970 with the first Earth Day. Can we make the air cleaner? Can that be done? Can we make the Santa Monica Bay cleaner? And even though we've got work to do with the air in the bay, look how far we've come with the Santa Monica Bay. Look how far we've come. We've come a long way. It can be done. And I just know we need more leaders like him with the plastic bag ban, the ban on fracking, all the wonderful things he's done with the bike lanes, the bike racks, with more trees. It's just been extraordinary. His environmental record is something, it's nothing short of extraordinary. It's really something to behold. And I look up there and I'll just say in closing, I'm just so inspired that you have that beautiful picture of Cesar Chavez, because he was a good friend of mine. I had the honor and the sadness of carrying his coffin through the streets of Delano. There is a man who did everything that he did nonviolently, and he also believed that it could be done. Si se puede, it could be done. Let's elect one of the greatest leaders that we have in the city council, Jose Huizar.
Thank you so much for being here, and it means a lot to me that we have so much support here to support not me as a council member, Jose Huizar, but to support an environmental agenda for the city of LA. That's what this is really about. I want to thank Ed Begley for being here. It means a lot to me that you're here. You've always been an inspiration of mine. Since I first met you, when I got involved, when I was running in 2005, I saw the work you were doing, I saw the energy you brought, I saw you really fighting the trends where a lot of people would say, what's he doing, But now, we know you're on the right side, fighting the good fight, and you have been a trendsetter for the rest of us, if not the world. So thank you so much. Ed Begley, everybody. To me to have the endorsement of the Sierra Club and also the LA League of Conservation Voters, because as we do the work we do, the planet does not have a voice for itself. And for you, even being here on this agenda, we're providing that voice. We're providing that voice for us to protect our environment, to protect our planet Earth. And so each one of you should be commended for the work you do. I've always admired the work of the Sierra Club and the LA League of Conservation Voters for putting their stamp of approval, their seal of approval on people who are doing good work for all of us. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And thank you for, I think it was 2013, it was coincidental that both of you, maybe the elected official of the year or something like that, whatever it was, champion of, whatever it was, that meant a lot to me. It was two of the most important awards I've had received, and I appreciate that. When I became chair of Energy and Environment, it was quite interesting because for myself, looking at where I came from as a policymaker, having come from the school board, I was doing the things that I thought were right and I believed in. And then when I became the chair of the Energy and Environment Committee, I kind of became a lot more exposed to some of the issues we needed to do as a city. And sitting in that committee for a very long time was a proposal to ban plastic bags in the city of LA. It didn't move forward. Why? One of the most easiest answers we find, there was a strong opposition to it, mostly from the plastic bag industry, and it had been sitting there for years. We're working with my good friend, Councilmember Paul Koretz, and a lot of you who are we were able to move that forward, and we adopted a ban on plastic bags here in the city of LA that made it a lot easier for the state to then go forward and have their statewide plastic bag ban, and I think that was a huge victory for all of us. But also sitting there for a very long time as well was a feed-in tariff program that would allow us to have more solar panels in the city, so that we not only have to go out and get solar panels from Nevada and other states, but it's here locally, and in our urban rooftops where we can also create more jobs. We move that forward as well. And one of the proudest moments I had as a policymaker was when we finally moved forward a plan to recycle more of our commercial trash and from those trash that comes from multifamily apartment units, because that, at the end of the day, my friends, is going to have a huge impact on us lessening our dependence on landfills. And it's also with the trucks you mentioned to have more regulations on what type of trucks are out there, less crisscrossing of trucks throughout the city. That is going to be and has been a huge victory for the city of LA as we move forward on that policy. But I only was able to do this work because of you, people who wanted to push this agenda, people who know we could do things better. And as we sit here today in Northeast LA, two of my biggest battles on moving forward an environmental agenda was, believe it or not, putting some bike lanes on York Boulevard and Colorado Boulevard. You may think it's an easy thing, but even till today, when I call voters, people tell me, "Are you the one that put those bike lanes on Colorado Boulevard?" So it has been a battle, but I think we're on the right side. I am a huge believer in complete scrap. You've got to find alternative forms of transportation, and whether it's multimodal, whether it's bikes or whatever else, but we want to expand public transportation. Why not expand the Gold Line from where it is in East LA to Cal State LA and come up to Pasadena and make that move? As opposed to building a new highway that's going to cost billions of dollars that could be used otherwise. You could build so many more Gold Lines with that money, and you're not going to disrupt local neighborhoods, historic neighborhoods, where we have put historic preservation overlay zones to protect those neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods would be disrupted and destroyed. So I'm on that fight. I know many of you have been on that fight for the very first time. I'm looking at someone right now that you probably don't remember me. But when you were campaigning, and I was just a college student at UC Berkeley, we were, you had the same button, and I saw you going back next to me. I don't know if you remember, it was a River Center or Terrorism campaign. It was one of those campaigns. We're still on that fight, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're on the right side of things. And this campaign, I made it a priority of mine to say, hey, look, this is what I've done on the environment. This is what I've done to create complete streets. When I get people who tell me, no, they're not going to vote for me because I put in a bike lane, we got to get 2 votes for every one of those. We got to get 3 votes for every one of those. We've got to show that an elected official who stands up and does these type of things, they will win because they're fighting a good fight. So we're depending on you to please come out, phone bank, walk, get the message out that we've been doing good work and we want to do more good work for the next 4 years. It's not about Jose Huizar. It could be, again, Stan or David, who runs next time and picks up that environmental flag and says, we're going to do the right thing for planet Earth. We're going to get behind him because we know he's doing the right thing. This is the time to do this. Let's stand up for the environment. Let's stand up for good neighborhoods. We do local shopping, pedestrian, walkable streets, and that we also continue to do the right things in our local neighborhoods. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here.
Be sure that you're waiting out the rush hour traffic here. We'll do some phone calling. Anybody who can stick around, and make sure you sign up with Dan
And
here.
take one of these if you're ever mine.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
We have phone banking every day of the week. We have walking on weekends. This weekend we are having a coffee here. What time? At 10. At 10 o'clock, just to invite folks to come out, and it's our way of locally to let people know we're here as a campaign office come by, do some walking this weekend. We're here till March 3rd. Now, we have 5 candidates in this. The odds are, statistically, campaign consultants are telling me that it might go into a runoff if we don't work hard enough. So I'm telling them we're going to work hard. We're going to try to avoid the runoff. But if we don't avoid the runoff, we're going to win on May 29th in the runoff. And just as my good friend in Washington, D.C. said, you know, I am not a scientist, but I do know a lot of scientists. In this case, I'm not a political consultant, but I know a lot of political consultants. You guys get the So they're telling me we got to work really hard to avoid the runoff. That's March 3rd. So thank you so much. Thanks again.